You look like way too much like, what's his name? Seth Rogen.
Thank you. Well, and by the way, make sure you watch An American Pickle, our new show coming out on HBO.
I think you did a great job in that.
Thank you. I'm excited about that. Welcome to Providence on Voyage week 8 or 9 or whatever it is. This week, instead of traveling somewhere, we're traveling back in time, which we chose to do for a lot of reasons. We chose a bunch of dishes that were part of the menu or created in 2008. 2008, just like 2020, was a very difficult period for the restaurant industry because we were in the Great Recession. Now, of course, we're facing the COVID-19 pandemic. It has created the same sort of problems for the restaurant industry that the Great Recession in 2008 did. But just like 2008, I believe that in 2020, there will be a turnaround. There was in 2008 for us. That turnaround stemmed from two particular instances. One, we earned our first Michelin stars in 2008. And number two, I competed on Iron Chef with our then chef de cuisine, Yu Min Lin, and our pastry chef at the time, Adrian Vasquez. And we won against Masaharu Morimoto in Battle Blackfish. So the main course comes directly from that experience. The dessert comes from Adrian Vasquez, who was our pastry chef at the time, as I mentioned. To start out the menu, we have Lobster Bloody Mary, which was a dish that was on the menu in 2008 and very, very popular back then. So we'll start out by making the Lobster Bloody Mary. So you're gonna get a container which has the lobster and all the garnishes. Break out the good china and let's make sure that we have a good time with it. For the lobster salad, you've got obviously the lobster. You have the vegetable garnishes, which include celery and beautiful sun-gold tomatoes and ramps that we pickled earlier in the year, and some pickled Calabrian chilies that we also pickled earlier in the year. And then diced celery. And then you have a Bloody Mary flavor gelée, a horseradish creme fraiche, which kind of cuts through all of the spiciness of the dish, a Tabasco vinaigrette, and then a little bit of sea salt you're gonna fish it with. So start out by just putting the Bloody Mary gelée at the bottom of whatever bowl or maybe a glass that you wanna serve this in. And then the next thing you wanna do is dress the lobster and the vegetable garnish with a little bit of the vinaigrette. And then I would add just a little pinch of sea salt, which we've provided. Then make sure you mix everything around. And then we'll start out by putting the vegetables on the bottom, like that. And then you're gonna take your tweezers, which you may or may not have, but if you don't worry. You can use a spoon. And then you're gonna rebuild the lobster just the way it is in the tin. So this is a half of a 1 1/4 pound Maine lobster for each guest. And you're just gonna put it all around the bowl like that. And then the knuckles, which of course are maybe the best part of a lobster. And then finish with the rest of the vegetables, just like that. And then we've given you this assortment of herbs, and just go ahead and drop those right over the whole thing, like that. Sort of arrange them so they look pretty. A tiny bit more vinaigrette, just like that. And then I want you to finish with a little bit of this horseradish creme fraiche. Give it a stir so it'll fall from the spoon, and just dot the dish with this little horseradish creme fraiche, just like that. And then let's finish with another tiny little pinch of sea salt, and that's it. You get to have this because it's your birthday. It's your birthday. Okay, so moving right along, the main course this week is, as I said, the rockfish that we did on Iron Chef. But when we cooked this dish on Iron Chef, actually it wasn't rockfish, it was a fish called fatog or blackfish. The battle featured like a tank. When they revealed the secret ingredient, it was a fish tank full of live tatog. So the first challenge was to catch them with a net, and then we had to, cook them and prepare them all within an hour and against Morimoto. And like I said before, we luckily came out on top. So I decided for this dish to use rockfish instead of blackfish, and the dish is garnished with beautiful mussels and manila clams, both from up in Washington State, rockfish from our local waters. And then there's a beautiful broth that we've made with lobster and all of the shellfish that you see here, and lots of tomato and lots of Thai flavors. There's also a little bit of fried eggplant in there and some braised scallion. So what I suggest you do in order to finish it is just wrap this tin in aluminum foil, just like that, just to keep all of the juices in there. When we prepared this dish on Iron Chef, the dish was actually cooked whole on the bone. So essentially, like, the fish was sort of steamed slowly in the oven with all of the shellfish around it. And the reason for that is, like, I wanted to present a dish which featured, the main protein, which was tatog or blackfish. And tatog are fish that live on clams and mussels and little crabs and juvenile lobsters. So the idea was to present the fish with its natural diet as a garnish. That's kind of what we've done here, except again, not blackfish, vermilion rockfish from here in California. So I've covered it in aluminum foil. I'm gonna pop it in the oven for 8 minutes or so, or just until everything is hot again, all right? For the rockfish sauce, we've given you this beautiful lobster sauce that we've been talking about. So you have two options here. You can either leave it in the deli cup, pop it in the microwave until it's hot, or you can take it, put it on a saucepan on the stove, and then just simply bring it to a boil, properly season, it's the right consistency, you don't have to worry about any of that, but just get it hot, that's the point here. All right, so once the fish is hot, you're gonna remove it from the oven, carefully remove the foil, don't burn yourself, and then we'll begin to plate it up. So this one's really simple. I would just pull all the shellfish out and kind of give yourself a little bit of a frame around the plate, like that. Let these pieces of eggplant just kind of chill there with the shellfish itself, just like that. Then I would pick up the rockfish, just put it right here in the middle, just like this. And then take the rest of the, whatever you didn't get at the first go around, the little bits of fried eggplant, the braised scallion, and then whatever juices are in there, because these are all the juices. This is the cooking liquid from the fish and the cooking liquid from the from the shellfish. You want all of that in the final dish, so make sure you include that. So once your broth is steaming hot, just like this, go ahead and just pour it right over the fish. Just like that. Now, a couple more simple steps. One, we also have this beautiful little collection of herbs. We have coriander, we have basil, a couple different varieties, and we have some mint. So I want you to just take that and just scatter it all over the dish, just like that. And then we're gonna have this little deli cup here full of this clear oil, which is actually coconut oil, cold pressed coconut oil, which has been aromatized with lime leaf, ginger and garlic and jalapeno, lemongrass. And I want you to take this and I want you to just finish the dish with this all around. So it beads up a little bit in the sauce so that you get it on the shellfish and you get it on the finfish, and it will add just a lovely little punch of fresh flavor at the last moment. And then once again, as we always do, finish with just a few grains of sea salt over the fillet of fish, and that's it. Serve to your guests and enjoy. Okay, so let's talk about the bread service for this week. So it's Nori focaccia. This is bread that we serve for a couple of years, and it features a couple different kinds of nori. One is just the standard nori that we all know that we get when we go to our local sushi restaurant, which we toast and then we grind. The water that we use to make this bread, we infuse with local kelp from Santa Barbara. So it's harvested by Stephanie Mutz. It's brought to the restaurant. We dry it out. We use that to infuse the water that goes into this focaccia. We finish it, of course, with sea salt, and it's really great, you know, just dipped in olive oil. It's good with butter if you prefer, and it'll also be great to finish all of that broth that comes from the rockfish. This is another sort of like classic dish that we did here back in 2008. Very good, Mac. Okay, so here we go. For dessert tonight, you're gonna have a milk chocolate and whiskey panna cotta with Bailey's ice cream and a coconut sphere. So, you know, back in the early 2000s, spherification was a big thing. We used to do it. We used to serve it as an amuse. We used to serve it sometimes as part of a dessert, and it became part of this dessert back in 2008. So I'm going to show you how to put it together. Now, if you really don't want to serve it in this deli cup, you could chill it down as soon as you get it home, put it in the fridge, get it really, really cold, and then you could dip this thing just in a little bit of warm water and very gently try to take it out of the container and then put it in a bowl and then serve it, you know, in your fine china just like you did the rest of this meal. If you want to just serve it as it is, I'm going to show you how I can make it look beautiful and elegant, even in a 29-cent deli cup. So obviously you're going to remove the lid, and then you're going to take the coconut streusel that we've given you, and you're going to put it on about a third of the panna cotta. So just off to one side, like that. Make sure you cover a good amount of space because you're going to put the ice cream there. So here's the Bailey's ice cream, which is already scooped for you. I'm gonna put it on top of the coconut streusel right there. And then I'm gonna take the sphere and I'm gonna put it on a spoon. And then we're gonna take the sphere and just dump it on the other side of the surface of the panna cotta like that. And then when you bring this to the table, break the sphere so that the coconut comes out, and then you enjoy a little bit of the coconut with every bite of the panna cotta. So just like this. See that? So that kind of finishes the dessert. That brings the coconut flavor into the dessert. Anyway, that's the Providence en Voyage series, week 9, where we've gone back in time to 2008. We hope you enjoy it. We hope to see you next week. Be healthy, wear a mask, and we'll see you next week, Los Angeles. Thank you.